Good morning. It is time to wake up and be wealthy. And I have a super amazing guest that I've known for a couple of years now and finally coming onto the show. And we're talking about really how to get clients in a very juicy, aligned way that feels good and also is very, very effective. So that way you're not getting clients that are not aligned, that are pains in the butts, all of the things. So, welcome to the show, Rita. We're so excited that you're here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I love everything that you stand for, your personality, your view on business, your view on life, like all the things. So, I just can't wait to get into this topic today of like getting clients. So, if somebody is listening and they're like, I am so frustrated, I feel like I've tried it all and I am struggling to get the clients that I desire, to reach the goals that I have, to build my wealthy life, how would you coach them through this?
Well, I guess my first question would be the branding. We would definitely have to dive in and figure out, are you really fit with your branding? Because I have people come to me all the time and I will ask them, do you feel strong with your brand? And they will say yes. But then when we talk more specifically about who their target audience is, what makes them different, what is your messaging? All of that seems to be very vague. And I think what they mean by I have a strong brand is they have a beautiful logo and a color palette. I don't think that they realize that branding is actually more strategic than the visuals.
Mm. And so if they are in that place where they're like, okay, I don't have that, what would be like the first step for them to
Well,
unpack that and create that?
So the first thing is always your target audience, right? You want to know who your person is and so I talk a lot about the power of one because the power of one is going to help you in your marketing, but also in your branding. And so what that means is really niching down and diving deep into one person. And so I have this exercise that I use with my clients. It's 4 questions, and it basically covers the general, demographics, and then we go on to the backstory. What are her problems? And then with that exercise, you can actually figure out the next step is what are the solutions, right? So you can really get in there and figure out what offerings can you offer, or are your offerings way off track from what your target audience wants and needs.
Well, and a lot of times I feel like we are putting ourselves out there on social media. We talk about our offer a couple times, and if no one bites, then we think it's the offer. We're like,
Yeah.
I suck, my offer sucks, like I'm not going to get the clients that I want, and that is just not normally the case.
Right, right. You have to realize, especially on social, you have to do it so much in order to get attention. And just because someone isn't necessarily purchasing from you right now doesn't mean that they're not watching you. So you have to, keep doing what you're doing, keep pressing on. And I know that's hard, but we have to keep doing it every day.
Well, and I think when you can tap into that one that you're describing and really make it about their transformation, like
Mm.
what do they desire, and make it more about the impact, knowing that the income will come. You definitely start, I think, to get emotionally attached to your brand, to your business, to the potential transformation of other people, that it starts to feel more exciting to talk to that person and be able to change their life on social for free, to then invite them to either a discovery call or any other type of call to action that you have. So let's say that we've gotten a handful of clients. We do feel good about our branding. We feel amazing about our offer, but we're still like hitting that, upper limit, that glass ceiling. And we're like, man, I have 5 clients, but I really desire to have 10. What is still in the gap for people that you see?
Usually the marketing is the inconsistency in the marketing is usually the problem, because they'll get out and promote until they get those 5 clients, and then they're really diving into helping them, which is good, but you still have to stay consistent with the marketing. That's always, if you're not marketing, then I don't see how your business can actually survive, and by having really good systems in place and automations and funnels, you don't necessarily have to use social media constantly in order to get clients. You can use networking as a method. Local networking is good, even online networking. I'm in a group that meets once a week, every Wednesday, and there are hundreds of women in this group. And it's all online and it lasts all day long. So just in case your schedule doesn't, adhere to like a 3:00 thing that they have going on, then they have one that's at 6, and they have speed networking, which I think is the most amazing thing. And I love it.
That is so cool. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Well, it really is like, I think we chase vanity numbers, meaning like, oh, we get to 10,000 followers, or my reel must go viral, or I need this many people on my email list. And those things obviously can be helpful. But to your point, I think the relationship building, going deep with people, is so valuable, because even if they aren't a potential client, they may know somebody that could be a potential client. So when we really start to build that rapport with people, and start to create that reciprocity with each other of like, let's create win-wins, let's support each other, let's collaborate, you can do less and make more because of the strategy you have in place.
That's
So,
true. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. So like, I also think our life can throw us curveballs and start to conflict with getting clients. And I know like you have shared like challenges in your life with me. Like, how do you get through those to still grow your business?
Well, so I'll just give a little bit of a backstory on why I had these stumbling points. So in 2014 is when I started my business, and I started as a service provider doing website design and really getting deep into online business marketing, branding, all of those things. But during that process, I got divorced, I got remarried. My youngest son, developed epilepsy. And so my personal life just kept on interfering with my success. And it really, it really was tough. And so I got remarried. And then right before I got remarried, I started doing VIP days. And if you're a service provider, VIP days can just change your entire life. I was charging less and I was making more. And it was just so wonderful for me. But then in 2020, I found out that my husband was unfaithful. And then 2 weeks later, my baby sister passed. So then COVID kicks in, and needless to say, I'm over here depressed like nobody's ever seen. I'm sitting in my grief and heartbreak, and I just was not really functioning. And then in May, I went and filed for custody of my 2 nieces and a divorce in the same day, leaving me to be a single mom of 4, and trying to figure out like, how am I going to do all this stuff by myself? So obviously I got a little depressed, but then I created my own podcast in January 2021, and I was able to talk to more moms and really see like, how are they doing this? Because I was struggling to not just do like the basic stuff, to do web design. I was at that point, I didn't want to do web design anymore because I couldn't do it with all these other responsibilities that I had. But I was just having anxiety, and I was having all these other issues. And so when I was talking to these moms, what I realized is that they were all burnt out, just like I was burnt out. So one thing that I took away from that was, I had this plate and it was just stacked full of stuff. And one thing I just realized is like, I've got to empty this whole plate. And that included taking web design off of the plate as something that I was doing. I no longer could do it. So I threw the whole plate away. I was like, I was like, I need a new plate. So I just emptied the whole thing and said, what can I do now? What can I put back on? So then I pivoted my business really hard, but still at the same time was struggling with some anxiety issues and, and just really, I think just pivoting from doing something that is so tangible, black and white, like you're going to get this thing, you're going to walk away with this thing, to now working with products and offers and coaching. That was so different to me, and so I had so much anxiety and imposter syndrome around it that I had to get some coaching on it just to help me to move past all of that stuff. And it did affect my business and it affected my life at the same time. So yeah, that's where I am now. I'm on the other side.
No, it's so important. And I like, thank you for being so real, because I think too often we don't see the deleted scenes on social media. And so then we get in our own head, like, am I the only one having anxiety, depression, struggling, imposter syndrome? So like, it's refreshing to not only hear that, but also know that you're on the other side. I think it gives everyone so much hope, which I think is amazing. And equally at the same time, you you pivoted your business, which I think too often we can struggle with that because we don't want to let people down. It's safe to stay in web design for you, right? Like, you truly took a big risk that you didn't have to take, but it's paying off in so many different ways for you, which I think is just really inspiring to hear.
Yeah, it's just like when I left and I started my business, I am like an all or nothing person. I could have stayed in my corporate job doing design on the side, but no, I decided I'm going to take this gigantic leap. I'm going to quit everything. My husband had gotten laid off too. So now here we are, neither one of us working. We're going to move across the country and I'm going to start this business. And that's what happened in 2014. And, it was like, but I'm so determined, like I just cannot not do this, and I know that what I'm doing is empowering and helping other women and other moms specifically. And that just keeps me pushing. Plus the fact that I want to make a better life for my kids, for all of them, like, my sons and my nieces, and they all deserve, to live the best life that I can give them. And I'm doing what I can.
You're doing more than you can, and it's amazing. And I think, you know in regards to like getting more clients, like for example, like I said earlier, like you're at 5 clients and you really want 10. A lot of times, like, we make up numbers. Like, yes, would it be nice to get to 10? But then we get so fixated on that number that we start to forget of like, holy shit, I have 5 fucking amazing clients over here that like chose me to do whatever for them, to support them. And so when we can start to practice some gratitude on this side, then our attention goes over here, what can honestly attract the other 5. And equally, we a lot of times, like I've even noticed this in my launches, like the universe, I believe, gives you what it knows that you can handle.
Mhm.
So maybe not getting to 10 clients right this second is actually better for your well-being because of life, right?
Right.
And like you said earlier, there's so many people watching us on social and on podcasts and well, listening on podcasts, but they're getting ready to work with you, and we just don't have that validation. And so that can trip our brains up too, because it feels like no one's buying, air quotes. And
Mhm.
the reframe to that, I think, is no one's buying right now, or not the right
Mhm.
amount of people that you desire are buying right now. But that does not mean that people are not getting ready to.
Right. Or that they're not watching you. But I think, and to go back and just hit on that, one thing that you mentioned was really focusing on your current clients. I think that a lot of people will leave that piece out, and it's so important. I mean, for me, I have had the same clients for 9 years. that were repeat clients over and over and over, and not just for web design, for other things, but they would also refer other people to me. So really creating relationships with your existing clients will take you a long way. And like I mentioned, the systems and the automations and the funnels, that helps the momentum. So it takes you away from it a little bit, because a lot of times entrepreneurs, they don't want to delegate, and they don't want anybody else in there because they don't think that anybody can do it quite like they can. Right. And so they don't trust somebody else to take on any of their stuff.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think really tapping into like, why do you desire more clients, and getting some emotional energy around it? And what would that look like? Can you handle that many? Is there anything you would need to delegate? Like, already preparing for more clients is one of the best things that you can do to get ready for them to come into your world, to be able to support them. And a lot of times, like in the past, when I've had clients, when I go back to them and like do like a deep dive in their business, there's more ways I can support them and offer them more, and for an upgrade, right? We don't want to have scope creep where then like I'm doing more at the same price. And so they're also stressed out in their business if you're working like B2B, business to business. And so there could be additional offerings that you offer them. And if anyone that's spending money with you already or has in the past, is a way easier yes than a new person that's never spent money with you. So like there's so much untapped potential there, just like you mentioned, which I think is a great place to start.
It is definitely, because like I said, I had not just web design, but I had related offers. So we would do sales funnels and other things that I still offer. But, and I would always check in with them, like you'd be surprised how effective a little check-in is. And you can automate that, using a funnel. So
yes. Are you like a tech nerd at heart? Like
I am.
love it.
I love all things tech, because I feel like it, can really be so effective for you if you know how to do it and if you're using it in the right ways. And because for me, I'm trying to remove all of the stress and pressure that I have. And so by automating and using the tech as best as I can, it helped me. And one thing that I started doing was keeping a personal CRM. And so, for some people's, client relationship management tool. And one thing that I loved about it is because before, maybe you'll put it in a spreadsheet, maybe you'll remember to follow up with the person, but this tool is so simple and easy to use that it sends me reminders every day. Hey, do you want to follow up with this person? And I love stuff like that, because I network so often that I will forget to follow up. And other entrepreneurs are the same way. They forget to do the follow-up. Yes. And that's where you can have some extra impact as well.
Yeah, it's so true. And like those little reminders, it's just like, hey, go eat. It's like, oh, right. Like thank you. And so I love that you've even automated that, because it's just like this beautiful cue to your brain of like, oh yeah, let me go do that. And that alone could get you 2 clients, right? It could get you a podcast interview. Like those little, air quotes again, those little reach outs make a big, big difference, which is huge. Yeah. So I love this. Yes.
Staying a lot of impact.
So good. Well, you have, I want everyone to hear about your Client Attraction Academy. So tell us more about this and how they can get more information.
So right now it's still in beta, but I'm loving it, because it's so exciting to be working with, such a wonderful group of female entrepreneurs. Mostly, I think they're all moms, but yeah, it has branding in there. We go through the steps of branding, overcoming marketing, especially for introverts. I really attract a lot of introverts. I think it's just because I'm slightly introverted. And then we go over sales funnels and systems and automations, email marketing, content marketing, all of the things that are really foundational pieces for your business. So if anybody feels like they are needing these things, please come and check me out.
Yes, we'll make sure that we drop the link for the information to sign up for that. And, you know, even just having the accountability around getting clients can be like the thing that just supports you, because it's like getting in that energy, I think, is critical first. And then on top of that, all of your like wisdom and knowledge in this offer is like huge. So like it's just like joining to have a personal trainer. So if this is
Right.
something that you're like, I really, really need this type of support, like get in here, learn from Rita. You will not regret it. It's going to be huge for you. And then we can celebrate you when you get to your client list goal. And you're like,
Right.
but what now do I do? Like, what do I do now? So
Right,
good.
because I teach with no fluff.
One,
I'm like, no fluffing at all. Like, I
yes.
don't sugarcoat stuff. And so if somebody really wants a real, you know, effective way to learn things, I'm giving you all the exercises, all the insider secrets that I know.
So valuable, and really does create that fast path to success. And you
Mhm.
don't like, the biggest thing I want women to hear is you don't have to struggle to get to your big goals. Like that is a choice. You do not have to struggle to get there. And I think that's just so important to hear.
Yes.
I love it. All right. So, one last piece of advice, Rita, that you would give somebody that's working to get more clients, like one last big thing that you can tell them.
Oh my goodness, you put me on the spot with this one.
I know.
I would definitely say try to batch, you know, all of your email or your marketing efforts. Try to do batch working on them, whether that's writing out a bunch of emails, writing out a bunch of social media posts. For me, that is the most effective thing that you can do as far as marketing and getting clients. And but also when you're writing your things, make sure you're keeping that one person in mind,
Mhm.
and and really focus in on them and their pain points, and that's how you're going to be able to speak to more people.
I love that. It's kind of a set it and forget it model. Like you have things working in the background, but you forget that
Yes.
they're working.
And then you go
And
on and people are like commenting, you're like, oh shit, okay, great.
it's so good. It's so good. I love that last piece of advice. Well, we'll drop the link for the Client Attraction Academy and then your social media channels and then anything else that you give us. We'll
Yay.
just link it up for you in the show notes. So thank you for coming on the show. And please, please, please give Rita some love on social. Check out the Client Attraction Academy. And I have a feeling we'll have you back on the show. So
Well, thanks for
until
having
next
me.
time.
Thank you.